Weed of the week is one of the most common weeds you'll see as you travel around the country. It is dandelion.
All right, when you think about dandelion, and this is something Darren and I were just talking about too, it's not a regular perennial weed with rhizomes or anything like that. It's what's called a simple perennial. So you're just gonna see a taproot there. But yes, it is a perennial. It is going to be hard to control, and it's going to come up really early in the spring. What I really prefer with dandelion is spraying it in the fall. And I know it seems a little dumb because you don't see a whole bunch of yellow flowers out there or anything else. But if all you want to use is 2,4-D on your farm, or let's say in your lawn, I'm going to hit it late in the fall. I'm going to hit it again then early in the spring.
We also see dandelion in areas where fertility isn't perfect. We see it a lot of times in areas where we're short of calcium, or where we've overgrazed or mowed lawns too short. So if you've got those kinds of situations, solve them. You don't have to use herbicides at all necessarily. You may if you let the dandelion get way ahead of you. But if you get your fertility right, you leave your grass at a little taller height, you don't overgraze the pasture, wow, all of a sudden your impact from dandelion is going to be much, much less.
All right, now just a minute ago I mentioned 2,4-D. You could also use dicamba depending on the crop or the pasture or the lawn we're talking about here. But all I know is when you use these products, what we commonly see is people aren't using a strong enough rate. They say, well, I want to go with a half pint of 2,4-D and that'll knock the dandelions down. Or I'm going to go to the hardware store and I'm going to buy some of that 2,4-D stuff that they've got for my lawn. It's not concentrated enough, so you're going to run into problems most likely with a low dose. What I'm saying is go to your crop protection retailer, get the real stuff. Probably Freelex is the best 2,4-D that there is now that's low volatile. I'd get that and I'd spray it at the strongest labeled rate, keep the water volume relatively low. You're gonna have to hit it at least a couple times during the year, maybe even 3 times to make sure that dandelion is gone. And also, don't wait until you see a whole bunch of yellow flowers out there in your lawn or in your pasture. If you can get it in advance of that, then you don't have all these weeds going to seed and causing a problem for the future.
So where do we see dandelions showing up in our fields? Most commonly, we're going to see them in no-till or reduced-till fields. And often we hear farmers say, I never had dandelions before until I went no-till. Well, of course you didn't, because if you're doing a bunch of tillage, typically in the fall, you're taking care of the dandelion. So tillage can be effective on it. But if you've got to do something in a burn down, here's where it gets to be a little bit of a challenge, mainly due to rates.
All right, when you start thinking about Roundup, yes, Roundup can kill dandelions, but you're going to need 2 or 3 quarts, not this little, pint rate or something like that. That's just not going to cut it, in part because when you're doing a burn down, it's too cold. Roundup doesn't work that great. Otherwise, you can use high rates of dicamba in front of Extend soybeans. You can use a pint of dicamba in front of corn. Just don't use 2,4-D if you're right in front of planting. I just think that's a terrible option for burn down because there's so much risk for crop injury. I've seen guys hurt their corn, I've seen guys hurt their soybeans. I just don't want you to have a problem with crop injury and hurt your crop before the year ever even starts.
In wheat, you can handle most dandelions just by using Sharpen as a burn down and early season residual.
Well, that's it for our Weed of the Week dandelion, but stay tuned. Iron Talk is coming up next.